This is a house that I built for Aluna Island. It's for lot number 13, which is 2 Seaward Walk. Right now I'm doing a tour of the outside. Here's the top floor with the bedrooms and bathrooms. Here's the bottom floor, which will have all the living areas and stuff. So we're going to start off by, of course, putting some floor in the garage, as you do. And then, let's see, it's time for the kitchen. So for the kitchen, I was looking for a kind of cookie cutter look, you know, the thing that you see in the magazines all the time with everything being white and beige and crisp and clean. I wanted to make it rather spacious too, even though it's kind of a cramped living space down here because of the way I made the layout kind of weird. I was kind of going for one of those cookie cutter craftsman houses that are popping up all over the place, at least in my area of the world. Seems like everyone's going for that fake old vibe where everything is wood and white and clean and huge and open, which is not how it would actually be in an old house, but they're going for those fake old touches. So here I have some like paneling on the walls that makes it look fake old, and the, let's see, drawer pulls and doorknobs are old looking, but it's not really an old house. The way I was looking at it was that this lot used to be maybe a one-level ranch house from the 50s or something, and some young family came along, bulldozed that, and built up their cookie-cutter dream home. Or that some company came along, bulldozed all the old houses, and put in all these new houses. You might notice too, the brightness is way turned up. I did that in editing because it recorded really dark. I'm still trying to figure out how to fix that. I'm really new at this, obviously. This is my first video, so I'm getting on it. But for now, I've turned up the brightness in editing, and it looks kind of funky, but the colors are a little bit closer to what they are in real life. You'll see in the screenshots at the end what the colors really are, because this looks really different from when I was actually doing the build. So it looks still kind of weird, a little off, but you'll see how it is. Anyways, putting in some fake old kind of rugs that give the feeling that the house is older. Lots of little decorations, but nothing cluttered, because the whole new house cookie cutter thing is not cluttered. Alright, we jumped on over to the front part of the house, which is up against the like alleyway, and this is going to be the powder room. It's partially under the stairs. I have to use some custom content to do that, because I did a constrained floor elevation stair cheat bobber. But anyways, here I'm putting the toilet behind a little half wall for some privacy, and then I need to find a perfect little sink for the area that has the fake old kind of look, but also provided some storage because this room is small, it has no storage, and there's not really much storage around in this house. But that's kind of part of the course for Sims 3 because they didn't give us closets. But we make do. There's some more storage, and I'm going to pretty up this corner a little bit since I have that extra space that Sims can't really access because the ceiling is too low since it's under the stairs. So putting lots of wildlife in there. Oops. Some options editing. And I needed more light in this corner. It was dark, so I went for wall lighting to help fill out that wall. But I could not fit 3 on there as I wanted to do, so I searched for some artwork to put up there. And I think it gives a nice balance. I had the space turned away from the toilet, so you get some privacy on the toilet at least. Finding some decent curtains that have the kind of fake old look but fit decently in this space. Another thing in the houses nowadays is all the curtains going from like ceiling to floor, so I wanted something really long and drapey even in the bathroom to give it that kind of look. Yeah, here are the stairs that are split level kind of stairs. They're U-shaped, which you can't do without cheats unless you get some custom content. Coloring all the wood, and of course the coloring stuff is so much fun to do with all the lag, but hey, can't complain. It's better than Sims 4 where you don't really get many choices at all. Now I'm moving upstairs. I popped some stuff into that bathroom there, which is the main bathroom, and now hopping over to the master suite. It's going to be segmented, so part is going to have all the super wet stuff, and the other part's going to have a vanity with a sink. So this part has a toilet, has that huge shower, which is custom content from the Sims resource, and then a beautiful tub, also from the same set, I believe. I wanted it to feel luxurious, even though it's a little cramped, which is kind of the state of things nowadays, is everything needs to be top of the line and gorgeous and beautiful, and it doesn't matter if they're all crammed in there. I'm sounding really negative about this style. I mean, it works. It's not my style, but I wanted to, like, see it through and do things, even if it's not the way that I would have things in my house. I think there would be a better way to use space, but I wanted this family to not consider that and to just want to put everything in and fit everything in their dream house. So I was thinking for this family. Oh, that's where the laundry room is going to go. Sorry, that went by so fast. So here's the other part, the dryer part of the bathroom. I guess it's got 2 windows looking out onto the street. And it's going to just have 1 sink because I think otherwise it would have been a little too crowded. But also that gives them more space to store things on top and put things down. Here's the little tiny vanity that goes in the bathroom. It's not actually a functional vanity, but it works well enough. That little tiny stool underneath is for pretend, obviously. Most of my houses are really just for looks. I hardly play The Sims 3. I just like all the stuff I can make in it, and screw the rest, honestly. Too much lag. So, let's see. For this bathroom too, I wanted it to have, like, just light in this part and be dark and cavernous in the other part because I feel like it helped with the feel of that other part of the bathroom. And then this part, I wanted it to still look like clean and organized, but a little bit more crowded because I wanted it to be kind of like a free spirit uses this bathroom, you know? Anyways, moving over to the master bedroom now. I had some definite people in mind, not like actual people in my life, but made up clients or whatever, made up family for this. For the bedroom, I was thinking one of the parents is a nature lover, like extremely nature lover. You will see this coming out very shortly. And the other one is like a bookworm. So they each kind of have their own touches in the room, but the room is still like very simple, but like flourished. I don't know, like it has its flourishes. It has its special touches, even though it's pretty simple. At least in my taste, it's simple. I do things kind of way over the top. I am a very clutter person, so I try to restrain myself, especially in this build, but I love clutter so much, and that shows in my real house too. Anyways, putting lots of stuff on the bed to make it nice and comfy and like plush, because I feel like the nature-loving parent would like that, but still a simple, cohesive color scheme, and things are rather subdued in the nature tones for the bookworm parent who likes things kind of simple and clean more. So basically these 2 parents are balancing each other out, and I mean either one could be the nature lover, either one could be the book lover, whoever. It doesn't really matter. Anyways, so the nature lover gets those cool like logs, custom content of course, to be their bedside tables. This is a cluster, which is something that's a bit more avant-garde, not so cookie cuttery. Oh, that's hard to say. And the other side has the simple lines of the stool and the lamp. And this side is a bit more cluttered with all these plants, and I'm going to be adding even more because why not? Why not go over the top? And then this side gets an armchair. Now this armchair I figure has been with this family for a while because it's part of a set, and the set will show up throughout the house again and again. So this is just one piece of that set. And then the humongous bookshelf for the book-loving sim. I tried to put it, as you saw, next to that book, or next to the chair, but it didn't quite fit. And then a wildlife kind of painting that echoes the colors in the room. And, oh, we hopped outside to the driveway. Again, it's a kind of cramped driveway for a kind of cramped garage. It's how things are nowadays. You don't really want much yard space with the new houses, but you want as much square foot inside the house. So that's what I was trying to go for this house, but trying to give them outdoor living spaces and still a garage, so it still seemed like it would actually sell, because those are features that, of course, people are looking for, but they never actually use outdoor living spaces. But I'm trying to make it so this family does. Anyways. So extending the front of the house a little bit to make things work better, which means I'll rework the floor plan upstairs a tiny bit for that bathroom. Let's see, what comes next? Wow, just hopping around, sorry about that. Yeah, so here's reworking the floor plan for that bathroom really quick. This is just going to be a simple bathroom for the 2 kids that live in this house. So it has a shower tub combo, it has 2 sinks that are nicely spaced out in that little nook where there's a bit more light. I kind of wanted to flip the bathroom, but it didn't really work the right way that I wanted it to. I mean, you would consider having the sinks closer to the door, the toilet definitely farther away from the door, but I couldn't work it out in my head. Sometimes I write these down on paper, or draw them out on paper, how I'd like them to go, try different floor plans before I go into The Sims, and that one I couldn't figure out a great way to make it work. That didn't seem convoluted, I guess. Anyways, hopping back downstairs to the dining room. The dining room is going to be really simple, kind of cramped. I wanted to have lots of seating though, because I wanted one of the parents, I think it would be the nature lover, but it could be the bookworm too, to be like a cooking person. They didn't necessarily have to be a good cook, but they like cooking, and so they like having guests over to eat with them, so they like having this big table that fits everyone. Oh, hopping back to the front of the house. Sorry, I hop around a lot. I can't stay in one place. To do this little nook that's by the front entrance, it's kind of like the foyer. There's another piece there, right there, of that chair sofa set stuff. So I wanted that to be echoed somewhere else in the house. Like they bought 2 chairs and a sofa, so you'll see the sofa later. And then that was all together in the old house, and now in the new house they spread it out to give it a more collected look. Anyways, trying to get some nice decorations all around in the foyer. We'll come back to that though, because I did lighting, because I hop around too much. Oh goodness, all of the lighting. So then, back to the foyer. Gotta find the right storage piece there that's for the decorative stuff, the pretty stuff that you'd want to show off. So there's going to be like a painting, plants, knickknacks all around this area, because it's more just for show than for anything. I mean, you could sit around here, but I don't think anyone really would. I mean, I don't sit around my front door. I don't think anyone does. They have the living space by the kitchen. They have the living space upstairs. I don't think they would hang around here, but it's more just for show. And I mean, you could sit down in that foyer area and like tie your shoelaces or whatever, but I could have put a bookcase here, actually, now thinking about that. That would have been a good idea for that bookworm sim. That would have been a good idea so they could have a nice reading space. Sorry, I'm talking for a long time. My throat is getting sore. So, just finding the right pillows to make this look plush and lived in, even though they might not necessarily use this space all that much. And a chandelier. It needed the chandelier. Every entrance has to have a grand chandelier in these cookie cutter craftsman houses. There's the laundry room, the tiniest little laundry room I think I might have ever done. If I can't get it big enough, I usually don't include it, but this one needed it crammed in there. And I turned that little space into a closet because I couldn't figure out what I would use it for, that little one tile space. But it needed to have something, so we crammed in a closet. And now, exterior painting time. I went with a kind of stacked stone looking front for the like fake old look, and then some blue-green siding that looks like one of those historic colors, and then some white shaker shingles. Whew, that was a test to make it have that fake old look throughout the whole house. I'll edit it a bit later, so this isn't the final look. But that's what I went for. I usually have 3 different kinds of exterior painting stuff on a house because I feel like it's a good balance, and 3 is a wonderful number. Oh, and now we're down to the study or the office on the main floor. It's like right in the middle of the house. It has a nice view out to the backyard, outdoor living area, but it's secluded because it has custom content. The pocket door that you could potentially close in real life. In the game you can't actually close it, but it looks really fancy, really beautiful. It kind of lends itself to making a little bit of a more sophisticated office. So I went with a huge painting here, which in real life costs so much money. I don't remember what it costs in The Sims, of course. Who remembers that kind of stuff? And just 1 plant to keep it simple because it is so small. I didn't want to make it too crowded. Going through these rugs, I found some really good patterns, but none of them really suited the office until I got to that one, which had the nice warm tones from the painting, but was still very sophisticated. And then I was like, wow, those patterns work really well for kids' bedrooms, so I plopped them up there to get them ready for what I was going to head there next. And I painted the walls already so I could start with their accent colors, because I figured the kids' rooms would be a good place to change the colors up from the normal beige, grayish kind of color. Though I did put gray all over the nursery room. I figured the nursery is for a baby that maybe has trouble sleeping, so it needed a calm, serene space, and honestly it's more designed for the parents than for the baby, which is what you really see often nowadays. Trying to find a dresser that's big enough for this custom content changing table kind of stuff, because that's also what you see all over the Pinterest, is people putting their changing table stuff not actually on a changing table but on a dresser. So I chose that kind of sophisticated looking one because maybe it was recycled from their old bedroom in their old house. This, I put it in that room now. It moves to the bathroom later because it would be just weird to have that sitting around with a kid all day. Also, the horseshoe, not a good idea to put above a training toilet because what if it falls on the kid when they're trying to take a poo? That would not be good. Anyways, filling up with just a little bit of clutter, not as much as I usually do on those shelves. Just a little bit of decor, however you want to say it. But yes, a nice serene, calming, kind of dark actually, nursery. Oh, here I'm showing the changes I made. So I added the Shakers shingles to that front part, added an accent wall to the stairs that matches the green outside, and then I missed all of the room. I forgot to record the kids' room. I'm so sad. But the kid is also a nature lover, like one of the adults. So lots of green, lots of wildlife, as you can see, the butterflies especially. It could be a boy or a girl, honestly. I don't care. Whatever you want. And then I popped downstairs. Across the dining room, I put like this command center. I don't know what else to call it. It's not quite like an office, but it is like an office space because it has this desk. It has lots of storage. I figure that it's probably the nature-loving parent because I figured that that parent is way extroverted, and so that's the one that likes to cook for everyone. So that parent has this space in the house where they are like compiling recipes to test, and they're storing all the stuff, and they're managing the house kind of stuff. So command center is the basic, the most basic way I could think to put it. We'll come back to this command center too to add more knickknacks later, but I put 2 seats here so you could feasibly do like homework side by side with the kid or something, but in reality in The Sims you can't do that, but in reality you could, so I put it there as part of my pretend. And moving on to the living room, so we've got the fancier sofa here, the upgrade that they bought when they got this new house, and then here we're going to put the sofa from the sets that we keep seeing all around the house. And it kind of works nicely with other colors in this space, of course, because everything's kind of united. And then that chair matches with their new sofa, even though it's not tufted or anything, it's the same kind of leather. And then some side tables to balance out the space and add some lighting and some more plant life, because of course there's plant life everywhere, because of the nature lover sim. And also just because it adds more life to the house, literally and figuratively. Yeah, we're also going to add a crazy rug too, because these colors are kind of subdued on their own, but the rug is going to be intense. Anyways, here's some life managing stuff, so like a notebook, coffee mug that was left there, a binder maybe full of recipes, because this person uses a space to store recipes, house managing stuff like that. Little box could be the mail and the bills to pay and that kind of adult stuff that nobody really likes. So that's what this storage space command center is for. Here's time for the rug. I was looking for something orange to like warm up the space and go with the orange tones in the other rug, but I really don't like orange, so I had a hard time finding an orange rug that worked in this space. I mean, I did find one eventually, that one. It reminds me of one my grandparents had actually a little bit. Well, it reminds me of their sofa, I should say. But it has orange tones. It kind of has cooler tones. You'll see it better in the screenshots. That goes with the green rug. That picture could be like the matriarchs, grandmothers on the, I don't know, or just inspiration for cooking. Who knows? It just looks nice there. I love that painting. And then kid stuff here in the corner to make it a kid-friendly space, even though it's more of an adult space, really. Kids have their space upstairs. You'll see it later. And then back to the foyer to do more pretty knickknacks and decoration and storage. This could be like where they store their shoes. I don't know. Who knows? But it's going to have a little storage spot, and on top is going to be like a clock and some pretty things, and a phone. I know phones are like super obsolete and outdated now, but honestly, these are more of a sculptural piece, you know, something to just look nice sitting there. It does get a little notepad next to it for like writing down messages or jotting down the phone number of the person like you had to do in the olden days. But I mean, it fills out the space nicely too. And maybe this is the kind of family that does that just for the, you know, the kind of hipstery vibe. Who knows? I mean, I just like the look of those phones myself, so I might be a hipster. Oh no, I said it. Oh no, I'm doomed. Anyways, so here I needed some paintings to fill out that very blank wall, but I wanted to have them centered over the dining table instead of centered on the wall because it would look lopsided either way, but I feel like this way works a little better because it makes that its own space away from that door out to the living area. Back to the front door, we need a rug to wipe off our shoes, of course, and then there's going to be a little coat tree there, even though they have a closet like a few feet away. You know, you can never have enough storage. Some curtains for the study so that you can close off the outdoor space if there's kids playing out there. And then we add some curtains to this room too. I only add them over that one sofa though. I think it was because it didn't fit very well over the command center and I didn't want to block off too many windows, too much light. So just some green ones there to go with the sofas. And then outside to landscaping. So I needed to hide the warping from the constrained floor elevation cheat. So I needed lots of stuff around that side of the house. So you'll see lots of bushes and things, but I needed a tree mostly because it goes really high up. So I was looking for a tree for a while, and the perfect one ended up being actually the magnolia tree that you'll see just there. The colors echoed the house's colors really nicely, and it looked like an old growth kind of tree, like that one too. So I stuck 2 trees on either side of the house. I figured that those trees were there at the original house back in the 50s or whatever. And when they demolished the house, they left those trees to try to help give their house that old vibe, to help, make the fake old stuff actually feel real old. I mean, there's only so much you can do, but anyways, they left those trees there, the very nice trees, and then lots of sculptural bushes and a few roses. Things are pretty understated because obviously there's not that much space. And then some bushes to act as a fence because it's more natural for the nature-loving sim. Yeah. We have lots around this front side to, like, I don't know, give the illusion of privacy, but still leave the windows open and let in light. Because this is right up against the street, and it's right next to the school, too, so there will be lots of people, like, walking by, especially during before and after school hours. But I think it looks nice anyway. I mean, it is my build, so I would think it looks nice. But, yeah, doing painting underneath all the plants to make them look real, not like they're just plopped down on a grid, Yeah. Lots of heather, too, to add some extra color. The pink was nice, I think, with the green. I like pink and green. Maybe I'm in the minority, but I'm actually redecorating one of the rooms in my house to be lots of pink and green. I'm really into this pastels trend. Anyway, here's the outdoor living space. The barbecue and the little dining table set is a little smaller than the one inside, but the space is a little smaller, too, so I figured it's okay. And then some toys for the kids, so when the parent is outside barbecuing, the kid can play, or just when the kid wants to go outside. And then the only play structure that I could fit here was this teeter-totter, which is kind of sad because there's only the one kid and you can't really teeter-totter all that well on your own. But hopefully the kid will have, a friend over or something someday. Someday. Oh, that's so sad. Trying some other outdoor stuff. Everything's too big, doesn't really fit, because there's not that much yard space here. Tried the beekeeping set thing, not for this family. Nope. So that didn't end up in the house. Let's see, looking over. Oh, this is when I do outdoor lighting. So I use the, again, fake old kind of carriage house lighting. It goes by the front doors, by the side, where the garage is, and then in the living area outside, of course. Putting a painting here by the bathroom. You'll notice there's a door right by the bathroom that actually goes to the outdoor living space too, so you can access it through the dining room or through that little door there. Finishing touches up here in the bathroom. We're going to move over the training potty like I said we would because it makes a lot more sense here, honestly. And it fills out that space nicely because that is a really weird layout for a bathroom. But hey, what can you do? And then here I put in actually the store content, the baby swing thing that, helps them have their needs all met so you don't have to bother with them as much. And I used it without move objects on so I could put it in and it would still be workable. But honestly, I don't know how much of this house is actually workable because I didn't play test anything because too much lag, let's be honest. This is the upstairs living space. I used this wall to separate it because it's just really long and awkward and I needed a bit more separation because there's so many walls, but the walls all had doors and windows. So I need this extra wall and we put the TV on it so we have the TV room, playroom, informal family living space. Lots of storage for DVDs or games or whatever, gaming consoles, and we're going to put a sectional in this spot here. You have to find the right one that fits in with the fake old vibe, but fits nicely in the space too. And we make it a blue for nice calming blue reasons. It's based off those chairs actually, which I love those chairs too. There's so many things I love, but it's all custom content. And then we choose a warm rug to, balance out the cool blue, and the blue will be shown again on the accent wall that we're going to do between the doors there on the left. Well, now it's behind. But yeah, that's the rug we settle on, nice warm rug. And this is the accent wall. It's going to have a clock, and it's going to have these paintings that are supposed to be like family portraits, but right now they're just blobs because there's not a family. And then it's going to have some blue. I actually use siding so that I can put some wood columns on either side to make it more segmented. Segmented? Oh my goodness, that word is so hard. And yeah, some blue to echo the blue in the sofa and a little bit of blue that pops out of the rug. But you can't see it with this lighting, of course, but you'll see it in the screenshots. And then this is the kids' play area, so it's got their toys there, the little drawing set, the toy chest, and the costume chest, and it's going to have some stuffed animals in the corner. I love this cute little painting, too. I love cats, so, I mean, I would want that in my kids' room. I'm going to put a rug here. I'm going for a rug with soft, round shapes to make it soft and friendly. Those triangles are really cool. They just didn't quite work with the play space. Little overview for last touches, looking all around. And next are screenshots. So here's the front door right by the alleyway, and kind of right next to the street. Here's the part that's next to the street. On top is the master suite, and below is the laundry room. Here's the big tree that blocks all the warping, and the back of the house with the living area, and then the side of the garage. And here you get a better peek at the garage door and the driveway. And then another angle of the garage door and the other old growth tree right next to the kitchen. Here's the kitchen on the inside, nice and clean and white. Wow, don't those colors look super different? View from the kitchen into the living room, and then we'll move around into the dining room, and then another angle on the dining room that you'll see just here, so you can get a better view of the space towards the door. And then there's the command center with all of the life managing stuff, and the living room. So you can see all the beautiful things in the kids' space. And then from the living room to the front door down the hallway, the laundry room and the closet in the hallway, the office with the pocket doors, and then we'll peek into the office with a view to the outside. How lovely. And then an aerial view of the office so you can see the rug and how everything fits together. And then from the front door looking back to the living room, and then we'll turn to the right to the foyer, and you can see all the knickknacks and paddywhacks, all that good stuff, all the decoration that they've put in here, scooting back so you get a better shot of the whole space. And then scooting over into that little powder room, here's the sink side, and then here is the toilet side with all the decorations, a little light, and you can't see the toilet. And then upstairs into the family room, TV room, here's a better shot of that space, and then we're going to scoot over so you can see that accent wall. And then here's the playroom side, and we're going to pop over to the bathroom. Here's the kids' bathroom, sink side, and then the wet stuff side. And then popping over to the bathroom, with the vanity stuff, and then here's the wet stuff, and then over to the master bedroom. It looks so nice and neutral and calm here, not as dark as in the video. Oh my gosh, looks so much better here. And then popping over to the nursery room, nice calm gray nursery room designed for the adults, of course, with that really plush looking rug. I want that rug in real life, it gets so dirty. And then the kids' room, with all the green and the butterflies and the nature stuff and all the cool little decorations that a kid would have. I'm so sad that I missed the recording of this room. I really wish it was in this video. I really wish I could share it. Oh, and here's the outdoor living space with the kids stuff there at the top, and here's a view from the kids' eye view of the whole backyard. Here's the floor plan. So this is the first floor, grand view of everything. And then we're going to look at the left side, which has the foyer, the front entry, the office, the powder room. And then here's the right side with the kitchen and the living room, dining room, command center, a little bit of laundry room. This is the second floor, so all of the bathrooms and the bedrooms and the family area. We'll zoom in on that a little bit. So here are all the rooms that are up in the second floor, and then the roof, in case you were curious. And yeah, that's it. Thank you so much for watching and sticking with me through this first video. Hope to see you in the next one.